All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show down here in Niner Land on 49er Wednesday with an update on everything that's gone on down here in Santa Clara as the Niners prepare for the Seattle Seahawks Sunday at Levi Stadium. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue you're going to find. And this video also is brought to you by Mojo Fantasy. Check that link in the description and use the promo code KRUG, K-R-U-E-G, and they'll match you up to your first $100. Mojo Fantasy. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Niners. They're fresh off a win over the Eagles, getting ready for the Seahawks. Will there be a fall off? That is the big question. Will there be any kind of a regression by the 49ers? They've gone through this before. They're saying all the right things. Hey, you know what? We're not going to do that again. We beat Dallas and took a step back. They're intent on maintaining their level. We're at this time of the year where they know every game's vital. So one note I thought was kind of interesting today, the 49ers, according to multiple reports, are interested in signing free agent tight end Zach Ertz, who played at Stanford, played at Monte Vista for Tommy's friend Bergie. He probably won't make his decision till next week, but both Zach Ertz and his wife Julie are Bay Area people. They both went to college here in the Bay Area. And maybe that will make him want to be a 49er. Now, Ross Dwelley has a high ankle sprain. He could be placed on the IR to create room for Ertz. Now, with that injury, that seemingly opens the door wide open for Ertz. I mean, Zach Ertz is exactly the kind of piece that the Niners would want to have with Dwelley out. Dwelley is a receiving tight end who plays special teams. Ertz is a receiving tight end in his own right. So Niners like what they're getting out of George Kittle and Charlie Warner. But, with Dwelley out, is it possible that Ertz becomes a 49er? Kyle Shanahan seemed to not think it was likely when we talked to him about it last week. But now with the high ankle sprain for Dwelley, maybe that's changed their outlook. And according to reports, the Niners are one of the teams that are hot on the trail of Zach Ertz. So we'll find out probably more about that in the coming days. Interesting stat I read today on Trent Williams. Trent Williams has not allowed a sack since week 13 of last season. That's how good Trent Williams has been. He hasn't allowed a sack all year. We're now headed into week 14 of this season. He hasn't given up a sack since week 13 of last season. Gives you an idea of how he's playing. Deebo Samuel was named the NFC's Offensive Player of the Week for the incredible game that he had in Philadelphia. Deebo was monster in that game, and he deserves that award. And then Brock Purdy was named the FedEx NFL Player of the Week. So one vote for Purdy for Player of the Week. The other award goes to Deebo for Player of the Week. The Niners, are trying to lock up that home field advantage in the NFC playoffs. Now, what's the schedule look like, Niners and Eagles? Niners play Seattle at home. Then they play Arizona on the road. They played Baltimore on Christmas night at home. It's going to be a very tough game. At Washington. And then the Rams at home. While the Eagles go at Dallas, tough game. Dallas is favored. At Seattle. Then they get the New York Giants at home, the Arizona Cardinals at home, and then they finish at MetLife against the G-Men. So if Eagles are going to lose one more game and the Niners are going to run the table, it's probably going to come either this week against Dallas or next week against Seattle. So absolutely root hard for the Cowboys this weekend to pull that upset, because the road to the Super Bowl gets a whole lot easier if it comes through Levi's than if it has to roll through Philadelphia. We also had a chance to talk to Logan Ryan, the newest 49er today, the new cornerback, veteran corner safety. He can play either spot. He's going to wear number 32. So he took Ty Davis's place on the roster, and then he took Ty Davis's number as well. He'll wear number 32. He's interesting. I mean, he said he played for Tampa last year. He went against Brock Purdy in Brock's first game, and he's like, it's real nice to be on the other side of things, not playing against Brock, but playing with him. And he also cited guys like Todd Bowles and Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick as key coaches that he's had in his football life, and Belichick is considered maybe the best defensive backfield coach there is. Dre Greenlaw and Dom DeSandro, the last time we'll talk about these guys is today. They supposedly apologized to one another through intermediaries. Greenlaw said, hey, look, the guy's not a bad guy. Shanahan was given like 7 or 8 questions about this today during the presser. I was shocked there was so much devoted to Greenlaw, DeSandro, but Shanahan had a number of thoughts today on it. And he just wants to move on. He just wants to move on. He doesn't want DeSandro to lose his gig. He didn't like that Greenlaw got ejected, but he just wants to move on. Also, it was interesting. I asked Kyle about the tunnel screen from Purdy to Debo, where Debo went untouched into the end zone. And I said to Kyle, I said, if you watch that play again on the sideline wide off the all-22, you can see CMC on the backside halfback toss really carry out a play fake that was really, really well done. Put a lot of effort into the play fake. That made the linebacker, Morrow, take 3 bad steps. I'm not even sure if it was Morrow. It might have been the other linebacker. But it made their linebacker take 3 false steps to the left. And he couldn't get back in time. Otherwise, he would have made the tackle on that Debo touchdown. And I asked Kyle, I said, is this your culture? Is this just CMC? And he said, Christian McCaffrey is the best player I've ever been around away from the football. So I thought that was a pretty interesting revelation hearing Kyle say that. We did get some news out of this presser today as well. Eric Armstead, who's battling plantar fasciitis as well as some pain in the knee, will not play against Seattle and probably doesn't play the week after either. So he's probably going to miss a couple weeks. They're going to try to freshen him up now for the playoffs. Kyle said it wasn't MCL or ACL related, so that's good news on Armstead, but he's having pain in the knee. He's having plantar fasciitis pain as well in the foot, and they're going to sit him out against Seattle and the next game against Arizona as well. Elijah Mitchell is not going to practice today. He has a knee injury. We don't know the extent of it. Ray McLeod, who's been battling rib pain, is going to return to practice in a limited capacity today, so that's good news. So that's pretty much the rundown here in Santa Clara. It looks like the skies are going to open and we're going to have a rainy practice this afternoon. 49ers are saying all the right things. They're not going to overlook Seattle. They want to keep their foot on the gas pedal. I asked Kyle also about how in the last game against Seattle that Pete came out and, instead of running their customary 5-man surface on defense, they had a lot of 4-man defensive line looks. And I asked Kyle what he thought was behind it. And he said, you'd probably have to ask Pete, but that he thought it was probably just them getting their best personnel on the field. And that was a way of defensive alignment that they could get all their best players on the field at one time. So I did ask Kyle a little bit about that as well. All right, that does it for our Wednesday update. Consider yourself updated. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of The Krug Show, and thanks to Mojo Fantasy for sponsoring this video. And thanks to all you guys for supporting The Krug Show as we approach 30,000 subs. We should be there by the end of the week. Thanks to all you guys for helping us get there. Thanks for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube.